Hello again, once again, wrestling fans. It's me, it's the ROB, coming at you with another episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Here I am with special guests in the studio today, Los Rudos. Welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in.
Hello, sir.
So, we got HIW show coming up in a week's time. Thursday, the September.
Whoa. We have the premier HIW show. See, there's that Regina Canada brand run by that second-rate Drew Dalby GM, who what he does, I don't know, he picks his NFL picks.
Goes bowling.
And you have the premier brand in the Bridge City, HIW Wildside. Since Los Rudos has taken over, we are the show to see.
Perfect. So, what brought Los Rudos together? Tell me a little bit about how you guys met. What got you guys to where you are right now here today?
15 years of traveling together is what brought us here. Is what brought us to this very day. That's pretty much what it comes down to. We work the roads together. We travel the roads together. Los Rudos isn't just a gimmick. It's us. It's who we are.
So you guys are. Good to hear. Okay, so next question is what's in store going forward with Los Rudos? What kind of plans do you guys have for the future of HIW?
What do we look like? Rookies? We're not going to tell you what our plans are. We're not some kind of stupid evil villain that goes on a dumb monologue that gives up everything that he's going to do. First and foremost, El Asesino's getting the Central Canadian Heavyweight title back.
Guarantee it.
End of story. That's it.
When are we going to get to see that?
Well, that should have happened already, but Gabriel Jackson, the CEO, who has yet to actually come to a Saskatoon show, has put a block on it for some reason.
Well, let's put things into perspective here, okay? Since Dice has taken over GM of Wildside, he has blown HIW Canada out of the water.
Preach it, brother.
Out of the water, okay? And that we had this genius plan from the beginning, what fans seem to forget or are just oblivious to the fact that we totally wiped the carpet out from underneath them. They have no clue about anything, and they don't care. We go to Regina, and we go to Regina for the simple fact that they need us down in Regina. Regina needs Los Rudos, period. End of story.
End of story. So, speaking of the Regina brand, anybody in particular that you guys got your sights set on taking out, aside from getting back the Central Canadian Heavyweight Championship, is there anybody else on that roster that needs to be tuned in by Los Rudos?
El Musculo, what do you think? See? No? Anybody?
No.
See, they are what we would call the competition, right? And there's the Alpha,
which is me,
and then there's the Omega,
which is Dice.
Everything in between falls within our realm, right? Canada runs the way they run because they need to exist. You look down there; they got a CEO in Regina. They have a general manager. Right? They even have a what's he called? What's that mascot called?
Right? King Cash.
King Cash. He is the international representative of something. I don't know.
If you break it down, we've got Ronald McDulby, the Hamburglar, and Grimace.
Grimace.
The triple threat.
That's quite the team.
Yeah. And what are they doing? Right? They're running the same shows at the same venue, doing the same thing. Right? Look on HIW Canada's Facebook page. For the last 2 months, it has 131 likes. Since we've taken over, the Wildside page has almost doubled. We are at 200 and near 220 likes. You think that just happens just because we're sitting around, bowling, doing NFL picks, ranting on Twitter?
Going to concerts together?
No, it's because we put in the work 24/7. We are working.
You see, let's put a few things into perspective here, okay? Dice runs the show. Dice is smart enough to realize that Asesino is the show. So together, it's money, baby. That's it.
We're all about the money.
So, two different brands. You're talking about Saskatoon and Regina. What is the major difference between the two as it stands currently?
Us.
Just you guys.
We are the difference.
You're the difference.
We are top to bottom the only difference, and the only difference that anybody ever needs. Whatever show we're on, they're going to be making money. When we said that we were coming down to HIW Canada, did you hear one person once at all say, "No, Los Rudos, don't come down here. Don't come down to our show"? As a matter of fact, the fans were encouraging us to come down there. Just so they have someone legitimate to boo, someone to hate.
And the whole time, they're booing at us. They got smiles on their face. Why? Because we are entertainment, right? We are the money. We bring the show.
Love us or hate us, and a lot of people hate us. To be honest, I don't really care. If you can love me, you can hate me, but at the end of the day, Los Rudos gets the job done.
Good to hear. So speaking of that hatred and stuff like that, where do you think that stems from when it comes to down to it? Is it something about your personalities, anything like that, that causes the fans to choose to dislike you guys when you come out to the ring?
Of course, it's our personalities. We're better than everybody, and we don't shy away from letting anybody know that. And they hate it. They don't like the fact that we say they're better and we call it how it is, because then they got to face the harsh reality of life.
It's the simple fact. We put in the work, and they ground us down every step of the way. This man, El Asesino, went 8 years, right? For the first couple of that, he wasn't even allowed to wrestle in Regina. He had to be a manager, right? Came back, 4-time Wildside champion.
First time ever, 4-time Wildside provincial champion.
Goes on and becomes the Central Canadian Heavyweight Champion.
First time ever that belt has switched hands in another city.
Let's not talk about Dice Steel for a minute. You know, people want to say, oh, Dice Steel's retired. I'm not retired. I just moved up, all right? I took it to the next level. But when I was an active worker, right, when El Asesino and Dice Steel were apart, I ground my way through that. They stuck me with Thrill and Dylan. I carried him to 2 tag team titles.
Let's put it this way. Dice Steel is the diamond in the rough. Dice Steel is the most underrated professional wrestler in Central Canada, hands down. And for anyone to challenge him or say you're not in the ring anymore, you're out of shape, is ridiculous. I mean, look at Drew Dalby. What has Drew Dalby done? He wants to go out there and name drop. I've been in the ring with AJ Styles, and I've been in the ring with Samoa Joe, and and now you work at a radio station managing HIW, the losingest promotion out of the two.
So got him a long way being in the ring with such names like that.
It's ridiculous that man thinks that he can haul his fat arse into the ring with his bowling shirt and take on Dice Steel, a former tag team champion, a former Wildside champion. I mean, I've literally gone to blows with this man in the ring, and the fact that Drew Dalby thinks he can get in the ring in any kind of fashion with Dice Steel is embarrassing.
So speaking on Drew Dalby, if there's an opportunity to step in the ring with Drew Dalby, is there any one member or all 3 members interested in taking a crack at Drew Dalby?
Let's first of all, let's put it in perspective. We're not villains, all right? We're not going to see the 3 of us jump on Drew Dalby, right? I don't need Los Rudos to back me up.
If we wanted to jump Drew Dalby, we would have done that in the last Regina show.
Exactly.
Good point.
I don't hate Drew Dalby, right? I respect Drew Dalby and the work he does. You don't see me going into a radio station trying to be a disc jockey. I wouldn't do that. I couldn't hang with that man in a radio station. Just like he can't hang with me in the ring. But for some reason, Dalby keeps thinking that because he was in the ring 10, 15 years ago, he thinks that he's on the same level. And I put the challenge out there. Gabriel Jackson put a stop to it. I said, I don't care. I want that match. But Dalby is refusing. And we all know why.
Here. El Muscolo. Can Drew Dalby beat Dice Steel in a one-on-one match?
No.
End of story.
All the words that a person needs right there. So, speaking of the new member of Los Rudos here in the studio with us, tell me a little bit more about him. He doesn't seem like a man of very many words, so I'll let you guys maybe fill in.
He doesn't get paid
let
to
us all
speak.
know.
He doesn't get paid to speak. He gets paid to follow orders, and that's about it. With all the people that we have, gunning against us and wanting us to fail, as per usual, and just like the last 15 years of my career, it's being held down. I need people to watch my back. We need people to watch our back, so we hired El Muscolo. That's it.
Where did we find him?
Mexico. Where do you think we found him? Do you think we found him in friggin' China? The guy speaks nothing but Mexican.
El Muscolo, Viva li Mexico, right?
See?
See?
There we go.
See.
There we go.
See?
See. Switching gears a little bit, let me learn a little bit more about you guys and the history of you, where you trained, who you trained with, kind of what you've done inside that squared circle over the years.
Well, I think my track record, speaks for itself. I've wrestled the last, I can't even remember, 8 years with HIW. And when I started with HIW, it was with Damage Inc., Dice Steel here, and Crash Crimson. Crash Crimson was the man who trained us, took us under his wing. Yeah, we decided to team up. take over HIW. And then when we get to HIW strongly insists that I be a manager and I manage Damage Inc. because they didn't have a spot for me on the card.
Simple fact. That's the way it goes. As you said, we started in with POW, Pro Outlaw Wrestling, back, whatever it was, 15 years ago.
2002.
We actually, the rookie match was El Asesino versus Dice Steel in Saskatoon, and we just went on from there. We've fought each other tooth and nail, and we've stood back to back and beat the crap out of each other, right? It's just the way it goes, and you got to earn respect for a guy like that. And we always found out that when we're together, we are unstoppable. But when when we are apart.
A lot of experience in this room. What can you guys tell me about your time in the ring? Who you've stepped in the ring with that you loved working with? Who's given you the hardest match you've ever fought inside that ring?
I'm supposed to be like Drew Dalby, supposed to name drop right now?
Name drop? I'm not a name dropper.
Not
I
name
can
dropper?
honestly tell you the person I've been in the ring with that I fought the hardest against and have the best matches against is this man sitting right in front of me.
No.
Chair matches, ladder matches,
Street fights.
I mean, you don't go into a fight like that and then come out without having respect for another person.
You kind of become like blood brothers once it's all said and done.
We are brothers, and like that is, we have last 15 years up and down the same roads together. So, brothers doesn't even describe what we are.
It's true, right? And I put respect in this man's corner. The last match I really had at Spring Meltdown, right, where he became the 4-time champion. We went toe to toe, right? We hit each other with everything we had. It was the best out of 3 falls match, and you know what? This man stood the victor that night. Doesn't mean he's the better wrestler, but that night he was.
I can agree with that.
Sometimes he wins, sometimes I win. But when we're together, we're always winning.
Good deal. So let's switch gears over to the training side of things. I talked a little bit about your guys' training.
I'm going to stop you right there.
All right.
I'm going to stop you right there. I listened to about 15 minutes of your last episode with Chris Summers on here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I don't. It was the worst 15 minutes of my life. And not because of your show, but because Chris Summers went on here and might as well have verbally assaulted himself on the show. Okay, that man came from my training academy. He's even had the opportunity to step into the ring with me. And I have to say, I'm fairly disappointed.
Yeah, I was actually there when you stepped in the ring with Chris Summers. What can you tell me about him? What can you tell our listeners about Chris Summers?
His skull feels really good underneath my knee.
Just to clarify, did he not say on the show that any person he would step in the ring with, he would kill?
That was his words exactly.
Interesting. I wonder if he's interested to step in the ring with me for a second time.
I was trying to get it out of him. He didn't seem to be as eager as it.
Of course he doesn't. Because the one thing that rang true in that interview that he said was that El Asesino chops the hardest. I hit the hardest.
He does.
When I get into the ring,
I'll attest to that.
I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
And for Chris Summers to come out here and say that he's going to get in the ring and kill somebody is not only, 1, it's illegal, 2, it's a stupid thing to say, and 3, it's blasphemy. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was definitely a different interview, so to speak, and stuff like that. But yes, he had a lot of words for different people on the HIW roster. One of the things we did talk about that I'm going to bring up with you guys is an opportunity to wrestle anybody currently on the Wildside brand and then also on the HIW Canada side brand. Who would you take the opportunity to wrestle if you had that chance?
You can go with this one first.
So are you talking about current as of right now, or?
Let's go current as of right now to start.
Oh man, if I could pick somebody right now, probably Michael Allen, Richard Clark.
Yeah, well, and why Clark?
Clark is one of the best performers I've ever seen. This man stepped into the ring. His first match actually was in Regina against Dice Steel. And at that time, we went toe-to-toe, and I came out on top that match, but I knew this kid had a future. And this guy has done everything. You're looking at a future Hall of Famer. This kid will go the distance. And I saw a match with him and MRB here in Saskatoon, and it blew my mind the way this kid worked. This is the guy to watch, and I would love to step in the ring with him.
Perfect. Asesino?
Well, there's few on both rosters that El Asesino hasn't stepped into the ring with. By process of elimination, there's a few. There's Blaze, just because I haven't been in the ring with him. Not because I think his flips or anything are too fancy. I just would like to step in the ring with him and maybe cut him down to size.
Yeah.
Bobby Sharp, I've yet, out of all the years that I've been in Canada, I've yet to step in the room with Bobby Sharp. I think I had a brief altercation with him in a tag match, but nothing to cry home about. I'd like to step in the room with him for sure. But I mean, Assassino doesn't do anything for free, so the only time I'm going to get into these matches with these guys, the only time I'm going to get in the ring with Blaze, that hot dog looking Trailer Park Mom, is if it's for a title or something. I mean, I don't give that stuff away for free.
Fair enough. Speaking of titles, the provincial title, the Wildside Provincial Championship, currently being decided in tournament. That's going to be continuing this Thursday. Any inside information that we can get on what we can expect to see from that tournament? Any matches we can expect to still see coming up?
That's office stuff. I don't deal with office stuff. That's all Mr. Steele here.
This tournament has been, it was one of my first brainchilds I came up with and one of the best yet. This is coming from the simple fact that the beautiful beast Brett Morgan, who was the current champion at the time,
and an incredible champion, even though he defeated me for it, Brett Morgan held that strap with pride and honor.
But he decided to take it one step further and try to put me in my place. Right? Rightly so. I got involved in this match with him and Wable Star, and he powerbombed me. And then he took that title and hit me over the head, and that was the point where that disrespect, and I had to take a stand. So I fired him and stripped him of the title.
See, it takes a man to do that. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the beautiful beast Brett Morgan, right? But how many times has Clark attacked Cash, or vice versa? You see, that's another thing I think is very very funny, is that Cash has interfered in Clark's matches how many times? How many times? And you get into one little match because the referee's looking, not like a referee. She's out there maybe looking a little, her cleavage is hanging out, stuff like that. That's not proper referee attire.
Looking like a floozy.
A floozy.
She was looking like a
Like
floozy.
a bimbo. Right? And Dice realizes this. He's a busy man. He can't watch the whole match. And finally, when he realizes that this ref looks like a bimbo, there's children waiting, out in the crowd. He comes in to step in, right? She puts his hand on him. The only thing you have to do is to bop her one. But I mean, Cash interferes in all these matches. Nothing happens.
Nope.
Clark hits Cash over the head. Nothing happens. But Brett Morgan powerbombs this man, and what does he do? The right thing. You fire the man. You don't touch office, management. You don't do that.
So as far as this tournament goes, I wanted to see who was really hungry, who really wanted it. And we've seen some incredible matches. But I will tell you, on October 26th, here in Saskatoon, I have a announcement that's going to blow this tournament all to pieces. And that's all I'm going to say.
That's good enough. It's enough news to get people excited for the show, definitely. It's going to be very unique, very interesting, to say the least.
Los Rudos is going to be there, of course. It's going to be interesting.
Of course. It's most of the reason to pay for price of a ticket to get in.
The reason.
The reason. Okay, we'll go with the reason. Definitely. So,
That was sass for me. All right?
Hey,
keep the sass to a minimum.
Or you have to answer El Musculo.
I'm just a fat guy in a
Right,
chair.
Musculo? See? That's a serious C right there.
That's seriously.
That's a serious C.
So,
You
Or capital C.
the new hired muscle. When are we going to get to see an opportunity to see him in the ring?
Well, I mean, he'll get in the ring when we tell him to get in the ring.
Exactly.
We pay him. He is not paid by Wildside roster. He is not on a roster. He is outside talent that I have in my contract, in any contract I've ever had, we are allowed a manager. He is, by all intents and purposes, on paper, he is my manager.
We locked that down with our 6 Mexican lawyers.
Our 6 Mexican lawyers wrote it down. They went through all the fine print. That's it. We call him our muscle because I don't know what Cash is running around. People are getting hit in the head with chairs. It's crazy. It's
Anarchy.
The HIW, ground is just crazy. People are doing crazy things.
You got to protect yourself.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's
I'm
what we said earlier.
I'm glad he has sense. For the second time.
Speaking back on titles, the last show that was here in Saskatoon, we saw that the tag team titles were taken away from the World Class Renegades. What's the status of the tag team division or the tag team titles?
Honestly, I don't know. I lobbied to have them defended in a tournament and was told in no uncertain terms that those titles are going to be HIW Canada business. So I don't know what that means. I mean, look, and I'm just going to put this out there. You have a guy running around with the old Central Canadian Heavyweight title with tape on it, calling himself the Internet Champion, and this is allowed to go on. on and on and on.
And they sanctioned it. They sanctioned that ridiculousness.
And here's my theory. They don't want those tag titles to come to Wildside because they know that we're going to take all the titles. We'll even take that stupid internet title, right? We'll put it on El Musculo, and let's see if anybody can take it off him.
Okay.
You'd make a good internet champion.
The HIW Canada officials, management, the HIW CEO Gabriel Jackson, they are all afraid at the progress. Let's break it down, okay? When they came down, when HIW Wildside came to fruition, and they had it, and Dice Steele was named the manager, they were immediately afraid of the success that company would have over Canada.
We were supposed to be the little sister company,
right? And in a few short months, we've blown Canada out of the water. It's blown out of the water, hands down. This man, Dice Steele, sitting to the right of me, has pulled sponsors after sponsors after. I mean, you look at the show, and it's just better visually than Canada. Okay, so if they were to, they don't want to give us any more titles. As it is, they're as soon as I won that heavyweight title, they were scrambling to see what they could do to get that title off me.
In fact, I'll put this over. When Jeff Tyler won that, this is the whole thing. They are getting upset at us because we took the Canadian title to Wildside, right? It wasn't my suggestion to put Wildside guys into the Pile of Bones Rumble, right? That was all Gabriel Jackson. And then when Jeff Tyler won,
everyone was so happy.
Yeah,
Jeff Tyler, the Regina boy, is super excited. Yay! Jeff Tyler's got the belt.
But then reality kicked in. He was a Wildside guy. So right away, they wanted me to sign the papers to transfer him over to Canada. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
They went public with that on Facebook,
claiming that me and my staff were not cooperating.
Difficult to work with.
And that was not the case at all. I had to simple fact. Jeff Tyler was a Wildside guy. It was not my choice. I brought him back home. But then his head got too big, claimed his heart was in Regina. So, he paid the price.
He did. He paid the price. He got in the ring with El Assassino. And then what happened? HIW scrambles. They try to put together a fatal four-way, with men that have no contendership to my title. None. Nothing but complaints. I earned my title shot. And these guys get thrown into a match. Clark, bashed the mascot over the head. King Cash, he deserved it. I mean, Hamburglar friggin' drew blood, and that was about at the end of that.
Rumble.
And I didn't even lose the Central Canadian Heavyweight title. I mean, if it wasn't for Jeff Tyler, I probably would have won that match. I would have won it. I was right. It was right there. But no, Jeff Tyler.
Had to be the big shot.
Yeah, had to go off the top. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous, the conspiracies that they have against not only Los Rudos, but HIW Wildside.
And then Gabriel Jackson claims that, El Assassino was cheating, so Drew Dalby had a right to enter. Drew Dalby had no business being inside that ring.
So it's eye for an eye as long as it's okay, as long as it's HIW Canada. Yep. Like I said, Cash has been interfering in Clark's matches for months. For months, and he makes one swift move into the ring because the referee looks like a bimbo, and all of a sudden, you need your buddy to win the title. Well, what was your Dalby doing in the ring then?
Exactly.
Good point. I saw for months, El Assassino, that you struggled to get that opportunity to get that title shot finally. HIW seemed to be...
Struggled.
I say struggled in the sense that you were held back. Is maybe a better word. Held back.
That word is much better.
It wasn't struggled based on your actual ability, but it seemed like HIW didn't want to give you that opportunity that you probably deserved.
Well, let's just put this very clear, because I want to lay it down, because to some people, they're not so swift. All right? Everything you saw, right, from the beginning, when it looked like Dice Steele and Assassino were parted, when we weren't agreeing, everything through battle arts, through Super Casey not making it, to his contract, to the anger that you saw and the friction, we played you all like a fiddle.
All like fools. We played you all like fools. And the funny thing is that the fans, I don't think they still really grasp what happened that night.
It left a lot of us in shock, that's for sure.
And it should have.
Yeah.
It should have.
But a great moment nonetheless, especially for a wrestling fan watching.
A tremendous moment spent in front of 107 people, by the way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the crowds, HIW Canada, how big of a crowd do they generally draw in comparison to the Saskatoon crowd?
Well, when I was up there last month, they drew about half of what we drew the month before. That's what I saw. I stood in that ring holding the Central Canadian Heavyweight title, and I made a point to count as many heads as I could. Although you didn't need to count, you looked at it and there's no comparison.
So it's fair to say that Wildside has become the new A show when it comes to HIW.
Absolutely.
We are the A show.
We are it. Right? Again, I don't hate what's going on down there, but I want them to recognize the fact that the work that we're putting in has made us the dominant brand in HIW. Right, Melusco?
See.
Melusco, whatever your name is.
So, if you have an opportunity to sign somebody on the HIW Canada brand over to Wildside, is there anybody that piques your interest?
Well, they're all knocking at the door wanting a shot to come on over.
Yeah, I mean, just take a handful, you know. I'm sitting in the office, you know, just hanging out. I got nothing to do. He's the office man, and he's getting phone call after phone call after phone call, and we're on speakerphone, and he's telling everybody no. I mean, how do you make perfection better? You can't. You can't do it. There's no way. I mean, I don't like anybody else on the roster. Let's get this perfectly clear. I don't like a lot of people. The two people that you see in this room right now are the closest that you're going to get to me liking somebody. Okay?
It's true.
But you got talent like Michael Richard Blaze. That guy is he's talented for sure.
Oh,
I mean, again, you get in the ring with me and I'll chop him down to size. But I mean, you got the invincible Brett Evans. He has a lot of talk, a lot of mouth, but he's got some talent. And I mean, I wouldn't say he's in contendership for the Wildside. Let's also remind everybody that El Asesino's still in the Wildside tournament.
Absolutely.
True.
So in the midst of qualifying for the tournament, I won the Central Canadian Heavyweight Championship, and I still have the opportunity that I made for myself for the Wildside provincial title.
So speaking on that, has anybody ever held both titles simultaneously, and could El Asesino be the first?
Breaking records is what I do. Have you not been listening?
I'm listening, man.
It's what I do. 4-time provincial champion. The first man ever to win the Central Canadian Heavyweight Championship in a different city. A tag team champion. I'm triple threat, baby. I've won it all.
So now it's time to break the new record.
Hold
both titles.
There's never say never.
All the gold.
Asesino's going to be a five-time Wildside champion. Another record broken. Then he's going to go on and win the Central Canadian Heavyweight Championship and break another record. Because that's what I do. Then I'm going to cement my legacy in HIW as the best in-ring performer ever. Ever.
Good to hear.
Heck, I might even, get my wish and get my wrestling contract reinstated, and Los Rudos could take those tag team titles for two-time tag team champions.
So it'd be nice to see all the gold back in Saskatoon, definitely. So good to hear about all that. Again, that's going to be Thursday, September 26th. It's a Halloween show.
October 26th.
October 26th. Sorry.
You better be sorry. Don't get that date wrong.
Are you working for Regina or what?
Of course not. Saskatoon.
Oh, yeah.
All the way.
Saskatoon.
Yeah, so Thursday, October 26th, get your tickets for HIW Halloween Spectacular. Come dressed in your best costume because there is prizes to be won for some of the people that are going to come in and get dressed up. So definitely be there for sure. But while I got you guys in the studio, speaking on wrestling, let's shoot about some other stuff in the wrestling world. What do you guys think of other organizations, WWE, New Japan, anything like that? What does Los Rudos watch in their spare time?
Tapes.
Old
Of
tapes?
people that I'm getting in the ring with. That's what I watch. If it happens to be, I peruse every now and then. You know, I watch what's going on Raw or sometimes on SmackDown. 205 Live, in my opinion, is a giant abortion. I don't like that show at all.
I think you and the rest of the world agree on that.
There's very few television that I watch. I'm way too busy focusing on the Central Canadian Heavyweight Championship and the Wildside provincial title and Los Rudos business to even consider watching another program right now.
Well, speaking of other programs, it seems like the internet has become the new way for wrestling and organizations in general, getting shows on the internet, getting exposure to up-and-coming stars and stuff like that. Does Wildside ever hope to maybe push forward with something in the future sometime that they're going to release so that people can get a better feel for the Wildside brand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all we're all about. We're all about new wave, right? We're not out there with our TV, big bulky cameras and stuff like that, right? I'm locking things down to streamline high impact Wildside Wrestling to get it on the internet out there for the world to see clearly how good we are.
See, and this is the kind of thinking, the kind of business technique that Wildside has that HIW Canada doesn't. The proof is in the pudding.
We lock down sponsor after sponsor after sponsor. We got sponsorship money rolling in, right? So we're going to get the best tech out there, and we're going to make our mark, right? When you're clicking on the internet, you're not going to be looking at Canada shows that are shown on local access channel 9 on Regina TV. No, you're going to go right to your computer, and boom, Wildside in your face.
Amen, brother.
Perfect. Sounds good. While I still got you guys here, any last things you want to plug? Any social media that you want to plug and stuff like that while we're on the show here still?
Just want to point out that for October 26th for our Halloween Spectacular, you talked about the prizes. We started off with some good prizes from Glitch Gifts and Novelties. We've added to that. Vapor Jedi has kicked in, Speckle Bellies has kicked in, and Bar Atari has kicked in. We're looking at prizes that are totaling close to $400. Right? What do you get down in Regina? Maybe a voucher to McDonald's, right? But no, we got the sponsorship money rolling in.
Some food stamps for all the people out there living in their trailers.
Maybe a bowling lesson by Drew Dalby.
By Drew Dalby, yeah. Ronald McDalby handing out his McDonald's coupons and some just useless stuff. I can't even insult the guy anymore. Like I can't do it. He's pathetic. He's a pathetic human being.
Yeah. So if he's listening, right? Again, respect to you, Dalby. But if you want to see how it's truly done, get yourself up to Saskatoon and come see the premiere show, October 26th, HIW Wildside, Halloween Spectacular, Sutherland Hall, doors open at 7:30, bell at 8.
Maybe take a run up here from Saskatoon, from Regina, maybe lose a couple calories.
And as for social media, I believe HIW Wildside can be found on Facebook as well as Wildside Wrestling, I believe, at Wildside Wrestling on Twitter.
Found everywhere.
Just
Everywhere.
Any personal social media to plug for any of you guys?
I just got Facebook.
Just Facebook?
Like me, don't like me, follow me, don't follow me. I don't really care.
Facebook, Twitter. You find us on Twitter. That sort of stuff like that. We're out there.
And the man of many words, I'm assuming pretty much the same thing.
No.
He doesn't do Facebook. What are you talking about? Unless Facebook is translated in Spanish here in Canada, I don't think he's got Facebook. He's on a temporary visa, man. He's not doing Facebook while he's down here. He's making sure that nobody's jumping us from behind. Even when I'm sleeping, El Musculo's sitting in the corner, making sure that I'm sleeping safe.
Watching probably some Mexican soap opera, right?
No.
No, see? That's all
right.
he needs. Yes and no.
Well, I really appreciate you guys stopping in by the show today. It's been a great one. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you very much, and we'll have to do this again.
Yeah, maybe.
Awesome.
Thank you.